So if you add the B note to the C major chord, you get it's a dominant 7 where you have the B flat note. Then again 1 from D to another whole step is E, and then half. So 1, 1, half. Connect each number with a chord type, then transposing a song becomes very easy. Progression C, C major 7, C7 and F major 7, alright, or F major. So what is F? Now link this with the number 4. D minor, G, C, A minor. Let us take the numbers 2, 5, 1, 6. A minor is in a G scale, the fourth is C, so that's why we are calling it as 11. Welcome to tamsguitar.com, and we are going to take a look at a song along with some very useful concepts of theory like transposition. And many people, they ask me, why do you use a CAPO and how can we use it properly? So in this video I will use this song to help you understand different scales and how to transpose. And before I proceed, I would like to request you to visit my website musiccircle.in, and there you'll find, in this like I button here, you'll find a course called Basic Theory. So if you don't know the basics, then I think learning about transposition will be a little difficult. Either you research it on your own. If you are unable to find proper material, then you can check out my downloadable course Basic Theory. So coming back to the point, so here we are using a CAPO on the 3rd fret. So try to follow the instructions on the screen, because here we have a lot of information, and I would recommend, as I teach you, you keep writing it down. Then actually it will make sense if you watch this video a couple of times. Alright, so here the CAPO is on the 3rd fret, and as you know, so let me break down the chords of the song. So it starts with C, then it goes to C major 7. So if you add the B note to the C major chord, you get a C major 7. This is a basic theory, of course you should know. And then the next chord, it goes to C7. It's a dominant 7 where you have the B flat note, and again it goes back to a C major 7. So it's C major 7, C7, C major 7. So I'll teach you the strumming at the end of the video. If you want to learn the strumming, then you can skip to the end of the video. Right now let us discuss this. So I'll play it, but I'll explain it later. Okay, so this is how it happens. So this is the verse, and then in the verse, before it goes to the chorus, there's a part like okay, so it goes from C major 7, C7 to F. Before moving on to the chorus chords, let us break down this song. So now you know that, of course, since there is a CAPO and you are playing a C chord, it's not actually a C chord, it's a C shape. So the original scale is basically is E flat, right? And I'll first break down the chords in terms of the C scale, and then eventually I'll link it with the E flat chord. So for that you need to know the scales. Alright, so I'll quickly tell you like how to find a major scale. It's like 1, 1, half, 1, 1, 1, half. So it's basically, it means if I start with C, I say 1 or whole step. So whole step is 2 frets, so it goes to D. Then again 1 from D to another whole step is E, and then half. So 1, 1, half. From E, half step is F. From F, you have again one or whole step, which is F to a whole step is G, and again G to A is another whole step. So again 1. Then from A again there is one other 1. So 1, 1 half, 1, 1, 1, 1. So the last one you have is A to B, which is of course a whole step, and last half it's from B to C, and which concludes the scale C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So if we number these notes in terms of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then for each note or each number we have a corresponding major or minor chord according to the sequence. So 1 is always a major. This is a C major chord. Of course it's coming from a C major scale, it is supposed to be major. Then we have the 2, which is the second note of C major scale is D. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. These are the notes of the C major scale. 2 is minor, 3 is minor like E minor, F is major, 4 major, 5 is major, 5 is G, and A is 6, which is minor, and 7 is diminished. We are not going to look into the 7th chord here in this scenario. So if we connect each number with a chord type, then transposing a song becomes very easy. What I mean is, for example, if you think of the scale numbers instead of the notes, then 1, 4, 5 major. So what is 1? Now you link with the notes. For example, in C major scale, C is 1, F is 4, and G is 5. So in C scale you have these 3 chords, C major, F major, and G major. And similarly, if we take a look at a D major scale, then 1 is D. So you follow this chart, if possible, pause the video and write down a few scales, okay, for your reference. So for D, 1 is D, then 4 is G, and A is 5. So 1, 4, 5. In D major scale you get 3 major chords: D major, G major, and A major. All right. So in this way, if we take the look into the chords of this song with the help of these numbers, then it becomes very easy for us to transpose to any other scale. So now, instead of thinking C major, we can think it as a 1 major, right? Then C major 7 is 1 major 7, and C7 is 1 dominant 7. So C7 is not coming from this scale. All right. So C7 is not coming from the C major scale. Let us think this exception to be 1 dominant 7, as simple as that. All right. And then we have the progression C, C major 7, C7, and F major 7, all right, or F major. So what is F? Now link this with the number 4, because in C major scale F is the 4th. So now, for example, if we think of playing the same song using the CAPO somewhere else, this is a caged system, right? So either we can, transpose it to A shape, or D shape, or E, or G. All right. So you should know this caged system, then these things will make more sense. And the use of the CAPO is mostly based on the caged system. What I mean is a particular chord. So I'll briefly tell you, this video will get so long. I don't know how long it will get, because I'm again getting into each of these concepts. So I would highly recommend you to visit my website and check out arpeggios from scratch, because everything is interlinked. You should know the caged system. All right. So either you start caged CAGED, it means the open chords. You have a C open chord, A open chord, G open chord, E open chord, and D open chord. So if we transpose a particular song without changing the key, if we just try to move the position with the help of the CAPO, so instead of playing all the 1 and 4 with respect to C, I can play with respect to D. but since we are not changing the chord, we have to find the same chord in D shape rather than in C shape. Okay, so by now of course you are aware that you can play a D major in different places without thinking that the shape has changed, so the chord has also changed, right? So in this similar way, we can play the same song in different positions with the help of the capo, where the CAGED system kicks in and helps us to figure out with respect to which chord shape we are going to do. So in that case, we have to just follow the corresponding scale shape. For example, I'll give you an example. So C, C major 7, C7 and C major 7, right? These four chords. So I'm playing in E flat, right? This is the root. So I want to play, instead of from the C shape, I want to play it from the D shape, but I have to play the E flat. So where is the D in a D major open chord? The root note. There are in two places you'll find it, but the bass note is 4th string open, right? Although you have a 2nd string 3rd fret D. So I have to find this D as my tracker. So I put the capo in such a place that the 4th string should be E flat, because keep in mind I'm transposing the, not transposing, I'm just using a different chord shape of the same chord. So with the help of this we can also transpose. Later on we'll get into it, but in this case it is not transposition because we are not changing the key. Alright, so now if I play a D, so see, if I take this position, it is becoming so difficult because I have to constantly change the shape. So that's why, although they are playing it in the E flat major scale, they are not taking an E flat major bar chord. They are taking a C shape because it's very convenient, where you won't have to move the chord shapes, change the chord shapes. You just move a couple of fingers and you get it, right? So it is also about the convenience why we use the capo. It's not about always about the desire to use a capo. I want to use a capo, so that's why I'm using it. So if I use the capo in a wrong place, although I'm playing the right chord, it becomes very difficult. So see, it was very difficult for me to play this strumming pattern and constantly change the chords. So, although I'm playing the same chords, D, D major 7 and D7 back to D major 7, which the original key is E flat major 7, E flat 7 and what is that? E flat major 7. And when I move the capo, I need to tune up the guitar. So many of you who are playing guitar for quite some time, they could hear when I played in this place, just by shifting the capo, it was not sounding in tune. Alright, so I tuned the guitar in terms of the capo here on the 3rd fret. It is sounding in tune here, but was not sounding in tune because I just shifted it and started playing. I needed to sort of tune up the guitar. Alright, so now you're getting the point of using different shapes, the CAGED system and all, and transposition, where you have transposed E flat scale into C scale. If had I not used the capo, then it would have been a perfect transposition, because I would have been literally playing the C scale out here, C chord. But since I used the capo, I compensated the change. I am playing the E flat but in C shape. So got the point? So listen to this part again. If I am using a C shape with the help of the capo, where my root note is E flat but the shape is C, then it is using the C shape, E flat chord. But if I use the C chord here without the capo, so then I would have transposed it to the C scale, because now no longer I am playing the E flat as a root note, right? So here the connecting point is the scale degrees, where I am thinking of the root instead of E flat, D or C. So now let's move on to the next part, where the chorus part, it starts with D minor. It's D minor, and now think of, I'm in C major scale, right? So what is a D? D is a 2, and like we discussed, 1 4 5 major, here we have D is 2, 2 is minor, 2 3 and 6 are minor chords. So in a scale, the second note, whatever may it be, whichever scale may it be, if it's from a major scale, it has to be a minor chord if we expand, right? This is called harmonized major scale. These are all explained in my basic theory course and the CAGED system, arpeggios from scratch. All right, feel free to check it out. And what is G? So after D minor, we are going to G. G is nothing but the fifth if you count C, D, E, F, G. By now, I'm sure you have the scales written and you are following your copy, and you are able to relate what I'm saying, right? So D is 5, 2, 5, then back to C, then A minor 7, or A minor also you can use. So anyway, so D minor, G, C, A minor. Let us take the numbers: 2, 5, 1, 6. A minor is 6 or A minor 7, whatever you take, it doesn't affect the degree. If you are using an extension, minor 7, minor, or minor 9, doesn't matter. Then next part is D minor, G, C, C7. So in this portion you have 2, 5, 1, then 1 dominant 7, then finally D minor 2, G, 5, C. Now initially here, the chords, two chords are sharing one bar. So see, half half. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And now you have C. So here we have certain extensions slash chords, so on and so forth. So D minor, G, C. So here when one chord is occupying one bar, we have C, then C slash B. So where you have the B note as the bass, so you write it as C slash B, which means C with a B at the bass. Then A minor 7, pretty straightforward. Then G, and then F major 7. F major 7 is nothing but you play a regular F. Here I'm not playing a bar because you need the first string open, the E note, to make it an F major 7, right? And then G add 11. G add 11 is pretty simple. You have a G and 11 is the fourth. So fourth of G is C. Then again, it's a different topic. In order to understand this, you just look into the G scale. Again, I'm providing the diagram here, and you see the fourth is C. So in a G scale, the fourth is C. So that's why we are calling it as 11, because 8 is again the root. So 9, 10, 11, if you calculate, then again you get back to the same C note, because if you think G is 8th, G, A, B, C. All right. So 11th, fourth becomes the 11th in the next octave. All right. So now you are following the number here. So I'll quickly tell you, the video is already too long. So in order to transpose it to some other key, for example, let us take D major. All right. So for D major, the 2, 5, 1 and 6, look at the first line, 2, 5, 1 and 6 will become, instead of D minor, G, C, A minor 7, it will become E minor, A, D and B minor 7 or B. Alright. The second line, E minor, A, D and D7, which was the 2, 5, 1 and 1, 7, right? Dominant 7. And the third line is E minor, A, D, then D slash C sharp, because like I said, it's a slash chord where you have C, you had C slash B, where you were playing a C chord with a bass note B. B is the seventh, major seventh. So when we get into D, major seventh of D is C sharp. So that's why D slash C sharp, then B minor 7, alright, is the next chord. And then we have, of course, the F. Instead of F major 7, what is F of C? It is fourth. So in D scale you have G, because we are connecting the fourth between these two scales. For D major, G is the fourth, G major 7. And then finally you had G, add 11 and G. Alright. So similarly you have A add 11 and A. So this is how you can sort of, you revisit this video and try to do the calculation on your own. When I tell you, you write down and try to think about it. If you are unable to get it, you know, from what I am saying, I would highly recommend you calculate, do it on your own, otherwise you won't be able to learn. Okay, so similarly, in order to do this, although I told you that this is not a right idea to play this song putting the capo on the first fret, but we can just have a look at the chords, chord shapes, right? So let us take the chorus: E minor, A, D, B minor 7, E minor, A, D, E minor, A. When you get the D with a C sharp on the bass, so here what you can do, since this is on the first fret, this is the D note of course, but this is the seventh. Alright, so this is the shape. And B minor 7, everybody knows it's B minor. If you remove the fourth finger, it becomes B minor 7. Same thing, A minor, you remove the third finger, you get A minor 7. And now comes the challenge of G major 7. Here you have a new chord. So the theory of G, any major 7, is you add the major 7th of that scale with the major chord. So what is a major 7th? It's very simple. It's just half step below the root. So in this case, but you should name it as the note previous to the root. So what I mean is, what if you know basic ABCD, what comes before G? It's F. Although you can call it G flat also, but technically it's incorrect if we call it G flat. We have to call it F sharp, because it's a seventh. It shouldn't have the same letter name, right? Although these are enharmonic. Enharmonic means two notes which are same in sound but have different names. For example, A flat and G sharp. Those are enharmonic intervals. They will give you the same sound, but with respect to the perspective, you can either call it A flat or G sharp, right? So here you have to call it a F sharp, not a G flat. So you can put your first finger on the second fret. Remember, I have a capo on the first fret, so it is technically the third fret, but my fret is starting from here since I'm thinking of the capo. Alright, so this is my major 7, and then A add 11. So you do the calculation. What is the fourth of A? We have to add that. Alright, so of course it's D. So we have played a million times this note before, you know, in Summer of '69 and many other songs. So we can use this, and here it's kind of a sus sound because of this shape, but anyway, it doesn't really matter if you are not playing the C sharp note here. There might be other ways. Of course, there are other ways to play this, but in this case, let's stick to this. So this concludes our theory lesson, and now I leave it up to you, where you decode the original scale. Like, this song is neither in C nor in D, it is in E flat, right? So what will be the mother scale? You have to write down. I will tell you quickly. All right, so when you are taking a E flat scale, just I'll tell you the numbers. For example, here, what are the numbers that are used? Those are, you have the root 1, 4, 5 chord, then 2 chord you have, and 6 chord you have. So you go to the E flat major scale and find out what these chords are. So now if you look at the 1, 4, 5, you know, this is how, of course, you will kind of calculate. So you have the 1 as sort of E flat, 1, 4 and 5 you will have E flat, A flat, B flat, and in terms of the minor chords, 2, 3, 6, 2 is F minor, 3 is G minor, and 6 is C minor. Alright, and now you do the calculation, and as promised, I will try to quickly tell you the strumming of this song. Thanks for watching, and as always, before I finish, I would like to request you to visit my website musiccircle.in, and if you are not aware of these theory concepts, then feel free to check out my courses, Basic Theory and Arpeggios from Scratch, and I'll see you soon.